A lot to cover in today's video. Two major trade rumors has been blowing up. We have been hearing it. You have been hearing it. So I wanted to break them all down really good in this video. So that's what we're going to do there. And we're going to talk about training camp really quick. Let's go. %95 of this video is talking about two trades. Brandon Aiyuk and Matthew Judon. The rumors have been floating. So we're going to break this whole thing down. We're going to go through everything. And I'm going to tell you if I think the Detroit Lions would make the trade or if it's completely crazy and just kind of stop listening to it. So that's what we're going to do here. Before we do that, though, let's talk about training camp really quick for you guys. Again, if you're in the area or not, you should go to DetroitLions.com or on NFL to get tickets to training camp if you want to go. The rookies report in 3 days on July 20. The veterans report on July 23 in 6 days. So we're less than a week away from the start of Lions training camp. It is in Allen Park, again, so that's where you want to go. Also, the preseason schedule is with training camp, right? So you got at the New York Giants on August 8 on Thursday. August 17, we face the Kansas City Chiefs. And on August 24, we wrap the preseason up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, if you want to go to training camp, make sure that it is not a walkthrough. Make sure that they got pads on them actually practicing. And again, I would suggest if you can, somehow have some drinks. It gets really hot out there. Make sure you have everything in order so you don't get there and you end up being screwed. So do those things, you should be good to go. Are you attending Lions training camp? If you are, put Y. If you're not, put N in the comments below. Now let's go ahead and get to the main topic of this video, and we're talking about the trade rumors of Brandon Aiyuk. So let's go ahead and start right here. From Mike Pillar, 49ers All-Pro wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk has officially requested a trade after an offseason of unsuccessful attempts to reach a contract extension. Despite the recent meetings, the Niners haven't been willing to engage in negotiations since May, so Aiyuk has respectfully asked out. And now this came from Mike Payton, AZ Sports, about the Detroit Lions. Says, I'm sure the immediate reaction to this trade idea would be the thought that there's no way Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions would do that. But recent comments from Holmes show that the Lions may not be far off from making a move such as this, and the Lions might be operating off the same playbook the Rams have had with Les Snead. So what was this conversation he's talking about? And this is it. This is what Brad Holmes spoke. Says, yeah, that's a really good question because me and our assistants, General Ray Agnew, we're both with Les, and he was actually more integral point person in free agent process because his role as director of pro scouting at the time. But we talked about how Les first got there in 2022. You know, obviously he drafted for a lot of years, and you know, you're attacking every single position in free agency. You're trying to build a roster. When Ray and I got here in Detroit in 2021, we had to take the same approach. But as you kind of build the roster and you get more stronger in certain areas, your process alters a little bit because you can be a little bit more, we've always been strategic and selective, but you can be even more selective than you have been in the past. So we're not quite there yet. We're less than the Rams are, you know, where we're really started to be very, very selective there. But me and Ray were just talking about that, and we're getting there. We're getting closer. So, obviously, speculations of Brandon Aiyuk to the Lions blew up because that is one position, you know, there's not 100% great depth, was at wide receiver. So what was the proposed trade on this article? There's been many proposed trades. Lions get Brandon Aiyuk, and we send first-round pick in 2025 to the 49ers and a second-round pick in 2025 as well. So two big picks. So this is what the Lions' current draft picks in 2025 are. We got a first-round pick, a second-round pick, no third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and 2 seventh, a total of 7 draft picks currently. If we made the trade, we are stuck with a fourth-round pick, a fifth-round pick, a sixth, and 2 sevenths, a total of 5 picks, with your first one starting in round 4 on day 3. Just think about that. Does that right there sound like a Brad Holmes move? To only have 5 draft picks starting round 4? No, it does not. What is his profile for Brandon Aiyuk? 6 foot tall, 205 pounds, 33-inch arms, drafted in 2020, first round, pick 25. He's young at 26. So if you're to make a move, he's going to be playing on your roster. He would make the whole contract as a younger player. So what about the ramifications of cap? He wants a contract extension. Any trade, you're going to have to do that. We got an easy one to compare to. St. Brown, who we just signed. 4 years, $120 million. An average salary of $30 million. A signing of $16.5 million. That's a lot. So we look at contract breaking it down year by year. This year, $4.8 million. Next year, $13.9 million. Year 3, $33 million. Year 4, $28 million. The first year, that's a 1.9% of the Lions cap of the whole team. Then year 2, it's 5.09%. 11.32% in year 3 and 9.26%. That's big percentage. Now let's go ahead and compare that. And if you was to get a similar contract in Detroit, what would these two combined be like if you were to combine their contracts? Year 1, nearly $10 million. Year 2, $27 million. Year 3, $66 million. Year 4, $57 million. Year 1, that's a 3.90% of Lions' whole cap. Year 2, that'd be 10.18% of a whole cap, and 22.64% of the whole cap in year 3, and 18.52% the whole cap. So question for you, would you make a trade for Brandon Aiyuk? Why for yes and for no? Now, when you go through all of what I just showed you, there is no way that the Lions are going to make this trade. It's not happening. The money is too much. These two contracts together of St. Brown and Aiyuk would destroy the Lions' cap for many, many years. You would be losing out on players such as Aleem McNeil. Potentially, they would get Aiden Hutchinson, but you're going to lose out on a lot of players. A lot. It would be destructive to the Detroit Lions cap. So I do not believe the Detroit Lions make this trade at all. And I want you guys to continue to understand that it would really hurt the Lions in the long haul. Yeah, the Lions would be good the first 2 years. After that, it'd be devastating to the Lions cap. It would be devastating. Now, let's talk about another player that the Lions potentially could be looking to trade for. I think this one's a little bit more realistic, and that's Matthew Judon. After revealing that he doesn't think he's going to get a contract extension from the New England Patriots, there have been some speculation that recently former Pro Bowl pass rusher Matthew Judon could get traded. As a result, sportsbooks have begun putting out odds for teams that could trade for Judon, and the Detroit Lions are listed as among the favorites. And here is the percentage here. According to Bet Massachusetts, the Lions are plus 600 and are being given a 14.3% chance to acquire Judon in a trade with the Patriots. Only the Seattle Seahawks plus 500, Atlanta Falcons 550, and Chicago Bears 550 have better odds. So the odds makers in Vegas says, yeah, it's possible. So who is Matthew Judon? What is his profile? He's 6'3", 275 pounds, 33-inch arms. He was drafted in 2016, round 5, pick 7. His age is 31.9. He'd be 32 years old with the Detroit Lions this year. But as we talked about in the other trade, what would it take to get a Matthew Judon? Well, here is the trade details that they put on there. Lions get Matthew Judon. We send out a 2025 4th-round pick and a 2025 6th-round pick. So let's go ahead right now and look at the current Lions draft picks. Again, we got round 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. If we do this trade, we'd have a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, a 5th-round pick, and 2 7th-round picks. That's all we would have, a total of 5. Now, the Lions could get back some draft picks, right? They could trade away a player or whatever to get, maybe a 6th-round pick back. So And honestly, when I look at these draft picks, I don't think that's crazy at all. So, yeah, you're giving up total 2 draft picks, but it's not crazy, right? So it's reasonable. It's a little bit high, but it's still reasonable. So, question for you. Would you trade for Matthew Judon? T for trade or P for pass? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So what about his contract right now for Matthew Judon? He's got 2 years left. Average salary of $16.4 million, a signing bonus of $14.67. So the contract is not killer. It's not going to destroy a team. There's only 2 years left, and the Lions could make it work. What was his stats last year? Well, he got injured really early on last year. He played in 4 games and had 4 sacks, 10 solo tackles. That's really good. A sack a game. But again, there's that injury issue, right? There's injury issues. So when I look at all of this, the cap, the draft picks that you would have to give up, and a position of need at edge, it's feasible, 110%. Now, I don't think this trade would take place right now. If the Lions were looking to make a trade, it would be before a trade like this where it's not gigantic. It would predominantly probably be in the middle of training camp or right before they cut down to the 53-man roster. That's probably what it would be. Do I think that the Lions could make this trade? I give it less than 50%, but this one is possible, okay? This one is not out of the realm of crazy because it fits a need. It's a veteran. The money's not too bad in the draft picks. At least this trade, they said, is not awful. And the Lions could recoup. Maybe they swap and get another draft pick back. So I think it's possible. And he is a good pass rusher. So I think all of this comes together that it is feasible in my opinion. But would you trade for Matthew Judon? Y for yes and for no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In the upcoming videos, we're dropping videos every single day. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. With that said, folks, adios.